We also don't know exactly about the attendance and whether or not people can attend and what the conditions are.
I would imagine like they probably have like an open court for him where people can attend. But the question is, do you want to go? Do
We
you
don't
want to
know. Like
go?
Legal Mind said, we'll see next week.
True, that is true. I cannot lie. Alright, back once again. Y'all know how we get down, the nuisance IRL streamers. But yo, you saw title thumbnail. Talking about Vitaly this time around once more. Yeah, the US and Russia, within obviously Vitaly being in the Philippines and sitting in jail right now because obviously his nuisance IRL streamer actions got him in trouble. Yeah, the US and obviously Russia, like we were saying, they not going for him. They not backing him. They not showing no type of support. You seen heads like Johnny Somali, which we'll be talking about too, or whatever. Call out to Trumpy and all these other different type of heads to help getting him pardoned and freed. And for Vitaly, that got shut down basically immediately. So of course we'll be taking a poopsie at it, taking a look, and I ain't gonna waste no more time. So let's do it. You already know the lawyer on the case. Legal mindset.
Uncle Mindset? Is that Uncle Mindset?
Got me dead. But we got U.S. and Russia unite against Vitaly. Fast facts. Of course, you guys want to watch the original video, the OG vid, down in the description. First link, show the love, legal mindset, and we getting right into that boy.
Here we go.
The US and Russia may not agree on much, but they are absolutely set on the fact that neither of them wants Vitaly. Once again, this is Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney living in Asia and covering nuisance streamers like Johnny Somali and Vitaly. So in the case of Vitaly, we actually have a huge update today, and this is really big. We have both Russia and the United States have now officially said they will not take Vitaly. Even if he was going to be deported, they're not going to take him. And beyond that, we have some updates.
Because again, you did the crimes in the Philippines. You doing the time in the Philippines. Yo,
What happened in the Philippines stays in the Philippines. Okay, now?
You feel me?
On the procedure of the case, which is very, very pertinent. Of course, this is a fast facts version, which is a abridged version of my longer live streams. If you want to see my live stream where I really dig down into detail on this, please check out my latest live on Vitaly. So, of course, I've prepared for you guys a nice presentation here, which gives you an update as of today. Once again, June 1st, 2025. As information breaks, I endeavor to bring you the most accurate information, which gives you just the facts as we have them to the day, to the best of my understanding as a humble American attorney. Now, what do we have that's unclear? We've got a lot of false information about Vitaly that needs to be cleared up and a lot of stuff that's unknown. First of all, we actually don't know the legal procedure and exactly how long this is going to take. So initially, we reported that the average time in the Filipino court system is 2 to 3 years for processing regular cases, but we don't know whether or not his case might
2 to 3 for the queue, and then like obviously from there on he got to go to his hearing, and then from there he got to wait even more time to get to his trial, and then yeah, you know how that goes.
Be expedited, or maybe it might be brought down a path where it could be adjudicated quicker. So we don't know how long it would be before he goes to trial. And we also don't know the particular judge, all of the prosecutors, etc. A lot of those court details, which are really pertinent when we try to cover cases as we cover them in the United States and in other jurisdictions, such as we cover the Johnny Somali, Ramsey Khalid Ismail case in South Korea. We should get that information next week, though, as the trial or the first step, which is the filing of the information, is scheduled for next week. We'll get into that. We also don't know exactly about the attendance and whether or not people can attend and what the conditions are.
I would imagine like they probably have like an open court for him where people can attend. But the question is, do you want to go?
We don't know. Like Legal Mindset, we'll see next week.
True, that is true. I cannot lie. But either way, for Vitaly, I mean, like, it's not looking good on the factor of like with the actual law, with the charges. Not too positive, huh? Because again, you remember when they were saying like all like obviously Legal Mindset was even saying it now. Like some people are spreading misinformation with different Johns, and then they were saying they dropped the one theft charge too.
Right.
Like yeah, so we don't know what's going on, but even that still within it. Whichever charges he does get, it'll be looking not too good. Like the unjust vexation and the ones like that.
There's been some kind of conflicting information on that. There's a possibility of attendance. The other thing we don't know is we don't know his real physical or mental symptoms. We do know that he did try to get out based on a mental health defense. I covered this on my last video, my last Fast Facts video, which covered the fact that Vitaly brought up a mental health defense, which was really laughed at by the undersecretary and has now been officially rejected. They've rejected.
I mean, I would imagine they're going to reject that, obviously. Because then it begs the question, hey, man, your mental state during some of these clips, what was going on there?
Yeah. What about his... Yeah.
Seemed
his
like...
mental state during all this stuff happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, well,
He
you were
was
still
mentally healthy,
crashing, doing dumb stuff, but, like, you were still in the right mind to know to do these clip farming, stupid John nuisance IRL. Like, yeah.
Mentally healthy. Now, and all of a sudden,
No, listen, I'm cooked.
mental health issues
All
and
this-
I'm hungry.
I can't do it.
My-
I just,
My
it's
physical
so hard on my...
fatigue, physique, I mean, is dwindling down.
Yeah, nah, like, head's not going for that. Vitaly, we will be seeing you later.
Rejected that plea to allow him to go under a mental health defense. So that's been completely rejected as of date. Further, we don't even know after he serves his sentence where he would go, because both Russia and the U.S. says, hey, we're not accepting him if he's going to be deported. Now, we have confirmed that it appears that he is a Russian citizen, therefore holds a Russian passport, but has a U.S. green card. So it kind of creates a weird situation of like, who's going to take Vitaly?
They both
But
said
we
no.
do know one thing. While it's unclear on whom would take him, he will be serving that sentence in a Philippine prison. So he is not going to...
Yeah, again, no question. You did the crimes, you did the stupid nuisance IRL streamer actions out in the Philippines. Guess where you serving them consequences? Right back in the Philippines. Undeniable. And then, again, better yet, more, not even again, more or less back to what we were saying before in previous vids. It's at their discretion. That's even tougher.
to get special treatment. He's not going to get sent to a cushy prison in the United States or somewhere in Russia. He's going to be serving that in the Philippines, which is where he committed those crimes.
Exactly.
Now, what we do have confirmed, and this is something that was confirmed by an article today, which if you want to see that article and dig deeper, check out my live stream. But that is unjust vexation, 3 counts. That is confirmed. So this is stuff that's solid information that we know is going forward. And what's going to happen is prosecutors are going to file an information as of next week. Now, what that does is it locks down Vitaly's ability to essentially settle or get this thing to go away. So the time at which he can get this to go away is going to come up next week. His only real options are 2 things, which is which is essentially plead guilty or just sit back and deal with it. So thus,
either way, both you gonna have to still sit in the cell or sit in the detention center. So
far, he has not pled guilty officially. And what that could do is if he pleads guilty, he says he's sorry, he throws himself at the mercy of the court, they may adjudicate him more lightly. That may be what would be called a mitigating circumstance. Mitigating circumstance meaning making it less bad. This is something we talked about in the Somali case. If you're very, very sorry, that tends to go well.
Like if you're remorseful, like you actually show like sorrowful for your actions or whatever you did, meaningful. And hey, boss man, you thought Vitaly was remorseful for his actions? Right,
when he was mentally healthy or not mentally healthy? Which one?
Right.
Yeah,
In most jurisdictions, especially in Asia, if you are genuinely sorry and you say that publicly in front of God and everybody in the court and everything, you come out and say, I am sorry, that is taken as a mitigating circumstance, provided that's a genuine apology. Now, what could that sentence be? So on the lower end, I've seen the estimates at a couple of months, like 1 to 3 months. Once again, assuming he's convicted on the charges of unjust vexation. On the high end, I've seen 1 year. Obviously, there's a spectrum in between that. It could be land somewhere in the middle. A lot of the false information around the Vitaly case has really fallen around the sentencing. I know it's really...
Yeah, like how much time he's going to get.
Yeah,
this is
we
something...
don't know.
That's what I'm saying. If we were to go back and assume like what was going around was 24 to 25 years, you know what I'm saying, with the 5 for 5 basically.
Right.
With what Secretary Ramula was saying, like he would get 5 per each John he was charged with. Now obviously, we don't know because like Legal Mindset just said, they might mitigate, you know what I'm saying, the charges, give him less time or whatever if he actually shows sorrow and or remorse, which I don't know how confident they'll be giving him less time for that is because they want him cooked. But I'm gonna hold you. Maybe. I doubt it though.
really easy to have clickbait titles that say he's going to go to jail for 1 million years.
Oh, yo. I ain't
Who
gonna
said
lie.
that?
That's dumb. But I sidebar when I was supposed to be getting to that point. Yeah, for Vitaly's John, they were saying 24 to 25 years, but clearly I don't think he's gonna be getting that.
No.
But this is more or less to compare back to the Johnny John back in the day when Heads was clickbaiting, like the numbers and all that. That's literally it. Their heads are clickbaiting. Yeah. That's why I don't be putting like numbers in the title anymore like that, because I'm just like, yo, we don't know until it's literally stamped in. They got charged, they got sentenced. Boom. This is how much time they're getting for this.
Years, or he's going to get the death sentence. But that's not simply true. It's just false. That's false information. That's a false fact, not a fast fact. By the way, smash a like if you like the fast fact videos. But it's something that I really try to be accurate on this channel. Now, I will say I get the information as it comes in, and I do update my coverage, which is why I cover nuisance streamers like Vitaly and Somali on an ongoing basis, because a lot of this information is not clear to begin with, and it becomes more clear and articulated as the process proceeds down the line in these legal proceedings. So at this point, we'll be very interested to see if he pleads guilty, and then once we get to the sentencing, how long that is. Now, I know some people you have feelings about justice, and that's what I wanted to speak real quick, because in the comments regarding Vitaly, and whether you're a Vitaly hater or one of the very, very few Vitaly fans, they exist, but they're an infinitesimal amount, or perhaps maybe you're
I would hope
somebody that says, hey, Vitaly did something wrong, but he doesn't deserve, 1 million years in jail. I think what this comes down to is an understanding of rehabilitative versus restorative justice. And this is a concept I wanted to explain because I think a lot of people understand this without it being articulated, but it's a good point of education for, I think, everybody out there in the chat to get educated on. And that is, in the justice system and in our penal systems, we have really two penal theories. One is restorative justice, the other is rehabilitative. Restorative focuses on the victim. So it's restoring and repairing the harm to the victim. So the victims were hurt, something bad happened. And people feel, and often do, that there needs to be something that a penalty that is assessed to restore that harm. A lot of people consider this old school justice, and indeed a lot of the classical systems were meant to give restorative justice. However, in some Western jurisdictions, they've had a lot of focus on rehabilitative justice, which is focusing on the offender and positive change. I actually think the best example of this would be Shawshank Redemption. If you've seen the movie Shawshank Redemption with the rain pouring down, and he comes out of the pipe, the sewer pipe, and he's cleansed.
My thing is just like, and obviously it's dependent on the government of the Philippines. If this were to happen to Vitaly, like he would have did this and got arrested and got all this different John, he would already be cooked, because the rehabilitative would have been back when he was like, remember the shrooms incident or whatever, when he assaulted the lady, like he would have been cooked. Like, yeah, he would have been rehabilitative during then. So he goes back on a prior. It's like, nah, this is straight restorative at this bit. Shoot, it was restorative then. I ain't gonna lie. But I don't know. I for Vitaly, I guess if I'm Trilly's choosing his moral opinion, I'm sorry, bro. We gotta go restorative, because we already gave him time to do rehabilitative, rehabilitative. I can't even talk.
He didn't get rehabilitated in jail.
That's what I'm saying. Beforehand, when he got like
he He had his chance.
Exactly. That's my
He had
main
his
thing.
Chance, and I'm not trying to be mean, but he had his chance.
It's a lot of these bulls. Like, I'm sorry, they gonna have to really see like the consequences. That's how they gonna learn.
Can stop.
I'm sorry, like, bro. Johnny is the best example of this ever. Like, quite literally.
His time is coming.
It is, by the way. But like, same thing with heads like Vitaly. Like, yo, if you didn't want to go through this, if you now feel so bad about this or whatever, why did you do it in the first place, knowing that this could be the result? Whatever. Truly be yapping.
You know, you're supposed to go through a healing, a catharsis, and wash away that and come out a different person. And one of the big debates that I see in the chat, and I see in the comments, and I see everywhere else, is which is best? Is one better than the other? Well, that's a cultural thing. And I think that's the most fascinating thing for me as an American attorney looking at other systems is the weight they put on one versus the other. And it's not to say one is wrong and one is completely wrong and the other one's completely right. I think
it depends on the case. Like, it could be depending on what the crimes were and what happened with the victims and or the offender. Like, either one of these could be the perfect opportune one to better the person and or like get justice. Just in this case, I'ma go restorative. But hey, y'all let me know how y'all feeling. Perfect engagement farming. Y'all know Trill. Trill doesn't chill. The boss.
Yeah, well, how y'all feel?
The boss chills. But yeah, how do y'all feel?
Some sort of balance between them where, hey, yeah, if you could change a person, they could come out better. That is a good thing. But at the same time, there is a harm and there needs to be an offset for that harm. So there's some balance to that. I don't think it's all one thing or another in my personal opinion, but I am very interested to know what you guys think in the chat versus Vitaly. Do you think that we should really focus on the harm to the victims? Or do you think, hey, maybe, a year in jail will do good for Vitaly? Maybe he'll actually think about his actions and come out a different person. Hey, maybe this will prevent other people from doing the same thing. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
Every time. Y'all already know what it is. No cap. Shout out Legal Mindset. That was U.S. and Russia unite against Vitaly. Fast facts. If you guys would like to watch the original video, down in the description, first link. Share the love of Legal Mindset, of course. Boss, find a page and gesture for him.
No, I actually want to have some engagement with the people in the comment. So, which one do they think? Rehabilitation or restoration?
I get what you're saying. Like, basically, the boss is coming off of what we were just saying earlier.
Yeah,
oh no, go ahead.
I just think that he did have his opportunity. To rehabilitate, and he did spend time in jail already.
Like, you could argue that was like almost a decade ago, which not even. Well, yeah, it just would be.
Listen,
but
don't get me wrong.
I don't know.
People can change.
Yeah,
I'm one to give people the benefit of the doubt, give them a second chance. But when we give you the benefit of the doubt and a second chance, and you go repeat,
that's what I'm saying. That's
some
why
of the same actions. Now it's like, okay.
Yeah, no, y'all see it in the vids. I stamp it in here and on Troll Talks, everything. Like, it's just the patterns of behavior thing. Yeah. Vitaly, up to this point, had really not shown that much change. Like, of course, he got into his Pred Catcher's arc, whatever, where people were starting to respect him more and all that type of jazz. But, like, even within that, he could have did that better. And then, obviously, from there, he shifted back into Nuisance IRL streaming. Or, well, not back into it, but back into doing bad by doing Nuisance IRL streaming. And I'm sorry, like, yo, y'all want to go around and do all this, in Johnny's words, for the club, for the money. This is the result. So, yeah, I feel like, brother Vitaly, I got no sympathy.
Right,
that's tough.
You guys let us know.
But, yeah, for y'all, do y'all think, for Vitaly at least, they should go more the restorative path where they get justice for the victims? My path. Or the rehabilitative path where they focus more on Vitaly and trying to better him. Which, to be honest, I feel like they should, if they could, do both. Yeah, but that's a whole nother thing. Yeah,
give him a year or two and then...
Yeah, try to get him on a better path. Which,
I'm trying. I'm positive. I think positive for people.
Yeah, no, I mean, you should, relatively. But other than that, y'all already know what it is. Vitaly, cooked as ever, no matter what. So, tough. Push it over to the end screen, baby. You already know. Like this video up if you enjoyed. I mean, the boss would very much appreciate it.
Hit that subscribe button.
6K up.
Hit that subscribe button.
6K down. Because 6K.
Smash that like button.
Right around the way, baby. Y'all already know.
There's my bell.
Turn on the post notification bell.
Yes,
so that every time the boss, Trilly, posts on this page right here, M&T Mama Trill, that boy will be straight up on your feed.
Yes, so you see that blue dot. Thank you.
Stamped. But yo, last but not least, like I say, every single time. Or better yet, the boss
Watch
got to
it
say
from the
first.
beginning to the end.
There you go.
Thank you. And I appreciate it. And now,
I appreciate everybody
Yes.
for giving us your time of day,
Yes,
sitting here
thank you.
gelling with us. You already know how that gets down.
on this quick vid.
Goofs and gaffs, idiots to deal with. Tough. But other than that, for real, we'll be catching y'all when we cover the next bozo.
Peace.
Peace.